Eggplant is a wonderful food, but it's somewhat underutilized for a lot of us. And I always like to call it aubergine, not necessarily because the name is more accurate, just because it's kind of fun to say. My daughter likes to do that too, but I think it's because she took some French. I'm going to work with this eggplant today and make something that's sort of a gratin with tomatoes. So it'll be an eggplant tomato gratin. And it's real easy to do, but it takes a little bit more time than some things. I'm going to just slice the ends off it after you've washed it. And it doesn't matter what size, what color, what shape. This will work with any of them. Do leave the skin on it, however. But remember that if you start with a dark eggplant or a white eggplant or a striped eggplant, by the time you finish cooking, no matter which one it is, it's going to come out to look about the same. Try to slice them so you have a uniform thickness or fairly uniform. And we're going to do about 2 of them, 2 medium or 1 big one and 1 small one. It's not real critical here. We're just kind of aiming for uniform thickness more than anything else. We used to think that eggplant were pretty much only good because they were, as far as nutrition, because they are a really good source of fiber. But research has shown us that they're very high in some of the antioxidant phytochemicals, particularly the phenols. But one of the unfortunate things about those is that the more of them there are, the more bitter it's going to taste. Now, some people will tell you that you need to salt it to get that bitterness out. What you probably need to do is next year look for a different variety of eggplant is going to be a better choice than that. Also make sure that you harvest them before they get too mature because that will increase their bitterness as well. Once you get those spread out, I've got them on just a broiler pan that I have lined with aluminum foil. And we're just going to brush them with oil. I'm starting with 4 tablespoons of vegetable oil, which is less than the original recipe called for. And you could probably cut it down to 3 and still have a lot of success. And if you're really working at it, you could probably cut it more. What I recommend is because eggplant is so much like a sponge, that it will soak up as much oil or it'll take as much as you can give it, that you have to set limits. And this is one way that you can limit the amount of oil that goes on, is instead of cooking it in fat, is to simply brush it with the vegetable oil, in this case olive oil, so that it absorbs the flavor but just doesn't keep taking and taking and taking, which it will do. This is then going to go in the broiler, and you're going to have to watch it. If you get it too close to the heat, it's going to scorch on you, so you keep an eye on it. It probably needs to be 3 to 4 inches away from the source of the heat in the broiler. You could also do this in the grill. We're going to let this go on for somewhere between 15 to 20 minutes, but you're going to flip it over halfway through and brush the other side with oil, put it back in until it gets nice and golden. All right, I have some already ready to go here. As you can see, we've got some nice color to these. And the next step on this is to get a nice big bowl. And what we're going to do is take these eggplant slices, which have been out for a little bit now, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my hands on them. If you've got them directly out of the broiler, you're still going to want to use your spatula. Put those in your bowl. And this is going to require a fairly large bowl because of what we're going to do here. I've got about a 1/2 teaspoon, 1/4 to a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which is optional. If you're on a low sodium diet, you can reduce or eliminate the salt here. And also about 3 medium tomatoes. We're going to put those all in the bowl and sort of gently toss them together. You don't have to do a real thorough job of this, but you do want to do it enough that you can kind of get them stirred together. And then also we're going to take the rest of the oil that we had after we brushed it onto the eggplant and kind of drizzle that over too. And as I said, we don't have to do a real thorough job, and you want to try and keep your eggplant in and the tomatoes from breaking up as much as you can. So you can just gently do the tossing. Then I have a gratin dish, but if you don't have a dish like this, you can use an 11 by 7 pan, or you could use a pie pan, and we're just going to sort of organize these in here. Now, if you're in a hurry, there's nothing that says you have to try to alternate the slices like this, and we may not even have the right number of slices in order for this to work out. But if you do have a little bit of extra time, it can look real pretty when it comes back out of the oven. Once we get these all layered in here, let me see, I've got 2 tomatoes and no eggplant, then it's simply a matter of putting it in the oven at 400 degrees. It's going to stay in there after we get the last ingredient on the top here. It's going to stay in the oven for about 20 minutes. We're going to sprinkle about a half a cup of Parmesan cheese on here as the final coup de grace, so to speak. And this is going to bake, and the juices are going to come out, and it's really, really pretty because the cheese has started to turn golden and gives you that kind of chewy effect that Parmesan cheese will do. That's about a half a cup of Parmesan cheese in a 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes. Still bubbly and hot, but you can see there's a little bit of juice down in the bottom. One of the nice things to do with this is to serve it with a bruschetta or a toast or over rice. That's really good too, and that way you get all the flavor of all those wonderful juices. And notice that if you have alternated the layers, if you're lucky, you can get down there and actually get some of everything to come on the plate and maybe make it look as nice on the plate as or close to it as it did in the dish for you. It's easy. It takes a little bit of time. You can do part of it on the grill, and you can actually do the cooking of the eggplant ahead of time so that you don't have to do everything at the last minute. So if you have your grill out on Sunday and you wanted to do this on Monday, this could be either a side dish or it could be a main course with the toast and some nice vegetables and salad. It would make a nice lunch. For Oklahoma Gardening, this is Barbara Brown.